Hi, Ron here. I want to tell you a very profound truth. MLM companies don't know anything about marketing and sales. Now, I want you to think for a second about how you reacted to that. Did it get your attention? Did it make you think, wow, how could that be? Did it disrupt the way that you think about things? What am I doing here doing network marketing if they don't know anything about marketing and sales? That's an example of what we call a hook. And the idea is it's designed to get your attention. Did it do that? Did it get your attention? And it gets your attention by disrupting your normal way of thinking or seeing things. So if you normally think network marketing companies are good at making money, all of a sudden here's something that disrupts that thought. And the final question is, does it make you want to see more of this presentation? What in the world could Ron be talking about? Well, I'm going to go on now to show you and prove to you that that statement is correct. Think about the Healy for a second. You've got an audience of people out there that are interested in the Healy product because they want to feel better. So here's one of those people. She wants to feel better. There's something wrong with her. She doesn't look like she's super healthy. She wants to feel better. And that's who you need to address. Let's look at some of the Healy marketing materials. How does it talk to her? This is actually from their website. How does it address what her need is to feel better? Well, in two places. It talks about a holistic, healthy life. How many people really know what that is? You've narrowed down the possible target market to people who are interested in alternative health and knows what a holistic life is and a healthy life, a holistic, healthy life. Okay, and then the other thing is that it balances your mind and body. Again, somebody who's used to going to the doctor, that doesn't mean a lot to them. Okay, relieving stress, now that's something everybody can relate to. But you can see it really doesn't address the needs of that particular person. Then what happens when they're ready to make a sale? You push the button that says order now, and here's what you see. What's wrong with this page? You see 4 identical products with different names and different prices, but that's it. And that was creating what's called a price anchor. And the price anchor is $494.91. Why would anybody buy the $2481.92 product that looks identical to the $494.91 product? They wouldn't. Unless they already knew exactly what the $494.91 product was. But their marketing materials don't tell you that ahead of time. So why would anybody buy this? They wouldn't. They'd always go for the lowest cost product because that's the best value for the money in their eyes. And that's what you've got to compete. They really don't know how to sell their product. What they're doing is giving you something that you can send people to number one, just get an overview of the product. It's like a fancy brochure. And number 2, actually place an order. Now, let's contrast that with something else. Take a look at this page. Imagine one pill that could make you feel fit and balanced, relax you and reduce stress, sharpen your mental focus, give you better rest and sounder sleep, get rid of your pain, make you feel more mentally balanced, beautify your skin, improve your sports performance, balance energy in your acupuncture meridians, activate your immune system, stimulate intestinal functioning, relieve allergic reactions, improve your nutritional balance, detoxify you, and balance your bioenergetic field. Look at all those things that it can do. Wow! If I want to feel better, gee, it sounds like that's going to do something for me. Now, imagine it's not a pill. There's your pattern interrupt. Okay, everybody's used to getting pills. Get a pill for this, get a pill for that, a vitamin for this, a vitamin for that, a prescription drug for this, a prescription drug for that. But all of a sudden you can do all those same things, and now imagine it's not a pill. And what is it? A 21st century frequency therapy. What in the world is that? It's like having a personal therapist in your pocket. What in the world does that mean? It makes you want to find out. So that woman who wanted to feel better, when she sees this, is going to say, wow, I wonder how that can make me feel better. It looks like it can, but what is it all about? And now that gives you an opportunity to engage. Now, just because this is appearing on a computer screen doesn't mean that it has to be that. It can be something that you're talking face to face with somebody. And you could say to them, imagine a pill that could do all of these things for you, but what if it's not a pill? What if it's a 21st century frequency therapy device? You could easily say that. The trick is that it gets the person to the point where they're ready to engage. On the computer, you get them to engage by doing something like this. Discover frequency therapy secrets. You just talked about frequency therapy. Let's take a look at that. Ah, there it is. Frequency therapy, right here. Okay? Discover frequency therapy secrets in this video course. And you might even want to say free video course. Okay? Simple guide to frequency therapy, 21st century health, by Simple Ways to Health. You've branded yourself. Okay? We're Simple Ways to Health. And what? Get it now with one-click instant delivery. And when they click on that, we'll show you how to get their email address. We'll show you how to get their phone number, where they live, and a lot of other information about them without them having to enter a single thing. Okay, so now you've got the engagement. Okay, well then guess what? You deliver it, and you finally take them to the point where you're going to sell something. Okay, now let's go back and remember the way they did it on Healy. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, what do you get here? Well, I don't know. I mean, what is a gold? I don't know. What is a holistic health? I don't know. Somewhere you would have had to tell them that. And that you have to tell them verbally. Or you have to tell them in a presentation that you give. But it's basically verbally. Okay, now let's go back here. Okay, you take them to the next thing and it says, here's what you get. Learning, pain relief, bioenergetic balance, mental balance. For convenience, I've only put 4 there, but imagine if I put all the programs there. Sleep, weight loss, meridian balance, chakra balancing. I mean, there's a bunch of them, okay? Which has a perceived value of being more valuable? This or that? Most people would say this because you're actually telling them they get more stuff. Okay, and then on top of that, you can say, and you get bonuses when you buy. You get a free copy of The Resonance Effect, 60 minutes of video training on how to use the Healy, and 1 hour of personal wellness with frequencies, consultation, or coaching. Okay, now, I want to distinguish right now and tell you this term, okay? There's a difference between a price and an offer. Okay, here, you're just giving a price. You're selling a product for a price. Okay, here, you're making an offer. I'm going to give you that product for that price, and in addition, you're going to get all these other things. That's the offer that you're creating. Okay? And the beauty of that is it's your exclusive offer. So it distinguishes you from everybody else selling healing. So ask yourself, what's the most effective sales and marketing tool? Is it the second set that you saw or the first set that you saw? And again, it doesn't have to be on the internet. This could all be done verbally. We're going to be teaching you about things like hooks, things like pattern disrupts, how to make offers instead of just prices, how to increase the value of your offer, the perceived value of your offer. All of that's going to come in the training. Right now, rewind this and go over this section and take a look at the difference. And think about how it made you feel. Think about which one would you be more inclined to buy. So now we're going to go back into the training. Here's what MLM companies teach you. First of all, they teach you to learn about the products. Well, that makes sense. You got to know about the products. Then they tell you to learn the compensation plan. Well, if you're going to sell the offer with the compensation plan in it and the business opportunity, you've got to know the compensation plan. Then they tell you to go out and recruit your friends and family. Usually that's like make a list of the top 10 people you know. We talked about that before. That's a fast way to make money. But it does have its pitfalls, and we'll share those in just a minute. Then recruit your contacts. Same thing. Go through your contact list. Again, it has its pitfalls. After you've gone through all your contacts, grab anybody you can, any way that you can. Because the whole thing in network marketing is recruit, 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 recruit. After you've recruited somebody and contacted, your first objective is to get them into a three-way call. That's your first real sales pitch. Then you might have them attend a small meeting or a larger hotel meeting. That's where they really get a little bit more pressure to sign up, buy the product, or even sign up to be a distributor or partner. Okay, once you've convinced them of that, you send them to a corporate website to enroll and purchase. Maybe you have forms for them to fill out, but ultimately you'll go to the website to enroll and purchase. And you teach them to repeat when they do enroll and want to build a business. You teach them to repeat what you just did, steps 1 through 8. And when you do that, what they tell you is that if you get your 3 or your 5 and they get their 3 or 5 and they get their 3 or 5, eventually you're going to make $1 million. Okay, now they can't really tell you that you're going to make that money, but the implication is here's the possibility for what you can make. That's the way they sell it, because they can't legally say you're going to make this much. They say, here's the possibility for what you can make, and it's always a phenomenal number. Okay, that's what they teach. If you've been to network marketing, you've gone through that process. If you've been in network marketing, you've probably engaged in that process. But here's the thing of it is, okay, it's not how things work. And I want to share with you for a moment the reality about how things really work in network marketing. First of all, it's really important for you to know that MLM companies are designed for them to make money. And so they teach you and give you tools that are designed for their success. That's what's uppermost in their mind, their success. Okay? It is never about you as an individual distributor. Never. And so what ends up happening is that most network marketers don't succeed. In fact, if you look at the data in network marketing, Most network marketing companies, about 5% of the people that participate make enough money to leave their daily job. Think about that. Okay, I mean, some of those people are making millions and millions of dollars, and you could be one of those people too. But really and truly, the chances are that you're not going to be, because 95% of the people usually aren't. And guess what happens? People discover that they're not going to be in that top 5%, and they don't suddenly realize that they're not going to make all this money, and they go, oh, well, network marketing doesn't work. And that's why there's such a negative perception about MLM. One of the things we teach you is that when you're working with people in sales, they have a default no. And you have to learn to overcome that, and you have to have pre-designed ideas, or scripts we call them, for how to overcome them. And one of the predefined no's with network marketing or MLM is it doesn't work, it's a scam, it's a pyramid scheme, and that's something you have to overcome to get somebody to both buy the product, but especially to get involved in the business. So let's talk about some of these points individually. What about marketing to friends and family? Well, I said there was a pitfall, and here it is. Okay, pretty soon you're going to have no friends or friendly family. What does that mean? That means that if you go to them with one opportunity after another, and every time you say, oh, well, here's a great thing, it's a great product, you're going to love it, and suddenly it doesn't work for them so well, and you go to them and say, oh, well, you're going to make lots of money, and they don't, pretty soon they believe that you're just telling them a story. And whether it's your friends or your family, pretty soon they're going to stop listening to you. And the real problem with that is that you run out of friends and family pretty darn quickly, even if you have a lot of social media friends. And for your business to work, you've actually got to have a lot of family and friends. Why is that? Well, part of the thing is the idea that you're going to recruit 3 and be done just isn't true. The idea that you're going to recruit 5 and that's all you have to do, that's not true either. Because what's going to happen is as people get disenchanted, they're going to drop out and you're going to have to recruit more. You never stop recruiting. And the problem with that is that you can't really scale up and really make a lot of money. Okay, that's the thing that you have to do, is to scale up. The people that make a ton of money also recruit way more than just 3 or 5 people. Way more. So you've got to scale it up. And you can't do that if you just rely on your friends or family. It will never happen. So I want to encourage you to start thinking in a different way. What about those 3-way calls? What about those meetings? The problem is, within any business that you have, whether it's network marketing or a retail store, the fact is that if it doesn't produce revenue, you've got to make it a low priority. You've got to focus on the revenue producing things. Well, somebody might argue that going out and finding a lot of people and recruiting them and getting them to come to meeting, that's all revenue producing. But really it isn't. Why? Because 80% of the time minimum, okay, it's going to lead to no results. You're going to go to one person and tell them about this great product and opportunity, and they're going to say no. You're going to go to another person, they're going to say no. You're going to go to another person, they're going to say no. And finally, maybe 2 out of 10, maybe only 1 out of 10 is going to say, yeah, I'm really interested in that. And they've got to be genuinely interested. It can't be something where they're just saying that to be nice to you because you're their uncle, or you're their best friend, or you go to baseball games with them, or whatever. It's got to be people that really want the product or really want the business opportunity. And most of the time, people are going to end up saying no. But you keep saying the same things over and over and over again. You tell the same story about the product, about what it will do, about the benefits they'll get from it. You tell the same story about the pay plan. You tell the same story about all the wonderful testimonials, and you do it over and over and over again, and it gets no results. So what are you doing? Okay? You're really wasting your time. And the reason that you're doing that now is because of the whole history of sales, internet marketing, and how the internet came to play. Originally, all selling, I mean, this goes back to the days when the guys were going around in their wagons selling snake oil. It was all based on essentially the same thing, which is one-to-one and face-to-face selling. And that's the way that actually internet marketing got started. That requires a salesman who's going to pitch. It requires a brochure, which is something in writing that the customers can take away, or the potential customers can take away and look at, and it requires an order form. Okay, those three things, and they were all offline. The customer had his talk, the brochure was printed up, and the order form was printed up too. Well, what happened? That's exactly how network marketing started. There was a little vitamin company in California, and they realized that the only real difference from ordinary sales, the sales that they had been using for years and years and years that involved hired salespeople, is they realized that people could sell vitamins based on the experience they had in those vitamins making them feel better, and they could sell them to their friends and family. And so they replaced their salesmen with family members and friends, and that was the beginning of network marketing. The next big step in network marketing happened with the advent of the computer. And essentially what happened there is that they took the they took the brochures and made them online. So instead of the salesman carrying them like before, carrying a bunch of brochures and handing them out, now it was all on the computer. And there were two main advantages for that. One is that it allowed the company to have tremendous consistency of message. There was only one brochure. Now, before, a salesman that was really entrepreneurial could create his own brochure based on the company brochure. It was certainly theoretically possible, but now the brochures were on the internet. There was no expense to the salesman. They had really good-looking brochures, and the reason that it happened that way is because the first companies to design things for the internet were all advertising companies, and what did they do before they designed brochures? The second step was to put the order forms on the computer. So now instead of having to fill out an order form and mail it in or fax it in, you could just enter it on the computer, and that made things a lot easier too. But still fundamentally, the salesperson, who was now the friend or family person, was making a pitch, selling vitamins, and then letting people look online to see the brochure about the vitamins and to place the order. The beauty of that is that it did make a major step forward in that it could eliminate face-to-face contact. I didn't have to see you one-on-one directly. I could tell you, go to my website. You like this vitamin? You want some vitamin C? Well, go to my website, look here, and then click the button that says order now. It was that easy. But it was still fundamentally, all the sales and marketing really happened down here. All the marketing was down here. The sales here, and finally the acknowledgement, we talked about that, was right here. But by and large, MLM companies are not good at large-scale marketing or sales. What? What am I talking about? There are billion-dollar companies out there. How could they not be good at large-scale marketing or sales? Because they're not relying on themselves to make the leads, get the leads, have the prospects, and actually make the sales. They're still just what? Online brochures, online order forms, and some human being out there making the sale, and that human being is you. So let's look at what is the MLM company real sales strategy that's designed for them, the company. Not for you, the individual salesperson, but for them, the company. Okay, it's still one-to-one selling. What does that mean? That means that their best strategy is to go out and recruit hundreds and thousands of people, all of whom can say, go look at my brochure online, go fill in my order form online. And their whole strategy is to recruit an army of these people. And the companies that are really successful do exactly that. Even if only 10% of the people that are recruited make sales, they think they're doing great. And then what they hope is that out of all those people that are recruited, there are going to be a few that really stand out and shine, and those are called the leaders. And those are the people that are mainly able to do what? Not sell products so much as to recruit other not so successful salespeople. That's network marketing. Recruit more and more and more and hope that a few are successful. The fact of the matter is, and we showed this a little bit at the beginning, is that corporate websites really are horrible for building your business. You are going to build your business. Corporate websites and MLMs are really just brochures. And the problem with them is that they're designed to meet legal requirements and not marketing requirements. You're going to be doing the marketing. The brochures are not. And they're certainly not designed to sell anything. Okay, like I said before, at best, they're online brochures and sales orders. And they may have fancy videos, and they may have testimonials and all of that, and all of that's very helpful. But they're still not really selling and marketing. They're online brochures. And you're doing the selling and you're doing the marketing. The other problem with them is that everybody is using exactly the same website. Now, there's a history to that as well. Originally, when the web first came out, it was actually a pretty big deal to create a website. It involved software programming. You had to go out and hire a programmer that knew this new magic thing called HTML, and they had to know how to do graphics, and they had to know how to make websites work with website servers and all of that, and it was a very, very technical thing. So it was very expensive to create websites. And companies realized that that was really not a good solution because it made it difficult for their distributors to market and then say, go to my website and fill out this form. So they come out with the idea of replicated websites. And that means essentially that everybody got the same website, and you could then say, go to mywebsite.com/my name, and everybody would have a different my name, but the computer would know when my name hit that all the sales and all the signups went to one specific person. So it made a lot of sense. Now suddenly you as an individual had your own website and you didn't have to really pay very much for it at all. Maybe $50 a year. Maybe sometimes free. So it was a great thing. It was a great idea. Okay, the problem though is that everybody had a website that looked identical. So if I went to Angela's website, it would be identical to Laura's website. So why should people buy from Laura instead of Angela, or vice versa? Well, there's no real reason. And that's why it became an industry standard, and still remains an industry standard, that the ethics of the industry is that the first person to contact somebody is in fact the person that has to sell to them. Because otherwise it would be really easy for somebody to, say, well, I've been talking to Laura and, over and over and over, but then I talked to Angela and I decided I liked her better, so I'm using her website instead, and I'm signing up there. And they don't want that to happen. And when you think about it, from an ethical standpoint, that probably makes sense. But the problem is that everybody's using the same website. What about this thing of filling out your matrix? 3 that get 3 that get 3 that get 3 that get 3, and pretty soon you're making a ton of money. Well, the reality is it never works. I can't think of a single person in network marketing that can legitimately say their matrix is completely filled out. And the reason is that most don't get their 3 or their 5. And in fact, the industry says that on the average, people recruit about 2.5 people, and then they give up. And most network pay plans are sold to you saying that you need to recruit 3. So you have to recruit above the average before it even begins to work. The average person is not designed to win in the system. The other problem is that you end up filling your matrix with people who are not motivated to build a business. And that's, again, by design by the company. In their minds, the more people that are recruited, the more people that sign up, the better things are for them. And in the short term, that's because most people have to buy something up front in order to join the company. Now, legally, that's not true anymore. Every company has to offer the possibility of signing up for free. But the fact of the matter is that every network marketing company has a thing that has a package you can buy when you sign up, and there's a big bonus for doing that. Okay, maybe you get 5 times the product when you sign up, or maybe you get extra special things that you can't get except when you sign up. So a lot of people sign up and become, quote, distributors, unquote, just to get those special deals. A lot of other companies will sell their products and they'll say, well, this product is $49.95, but if you're a distributor, you can get it for $29.95. So they sign up and be a distributor just so that they can get that lower price. And network companies have caught on to that, but what they do then is they say, if you're not active as a distributor for so many months, we're going to cut you our position. You're not going to be a distributor anymore. So for them, the $29.95 is a really good deal. But for you, in terms of building your business, it's not such a good deal, because that person never really had the intent to do anything but just buy product. So that doesn't fill your 3 by 3 by 3 or your 5 by 5 by 5. And that problem means that you're going to have to keep recruiting just to keep your head above water. You can't get 3 or 5 and stop. Pretty soon, one of those 3 is going to drop off, and you're going to have to find somebody to replace them. Pretty soon, another one is going to, and you're going to have to find somebody to replace her. It never stops. You're going to constantly have to recruit. And remember that when you do that, most of the time that you spend is wasted time, because most of the people say no. And the problem is that you don't ever get enough quality prospects. There are too many people that want to have a lot of money and make a lot of money without putting out any effort or any investment. A number of years ago, as an experiment, we bought 3,000 leads. And of those 3,000 leads, by far the majority of them had either no money to invest, or they thought this was a get-rich scheme where they didn't have to do anything, but they all expected to make a lot of money at the end. And they were actually surprised when we said, no, you have to put in effort and you have to put in some money. And that's how you make money in business, no matter what you do. So there are too many of those. There are too many leads that are in that situation. And that's why the major advertising platforms on the internet, both Google and especially Facebook, prohibit MLM from being advertised. Because there are too many people that are thinking, I'm going to make a fortune without either investing or without doing any work. And because they have no desire to make effort, and because they want to mainly save money on their product, too few of the people that you sign up actually do the duplication. They sign up and they never sign up anybody else. Or they sign up and maybe they'll sign up their brother, and maybe they'll sign up their cousin, because those people like the product and they want to get it cheaper too, but then it stops there. And for the duplication to work, it's got to keep going layer by layer by layer by layer. And people have got to see enough results that they stay in and keep working it, and that way your matrix keeps building and building and building, instead of you replacing the positions that go away. The other problem is that when you do get a lead, you have to do something that's going to convince them to buy the product and the opportunity. And the traditional ways of doing that are three-way calls, small meetings, and big meetings. The problem is that when you do those, you're taking time away from generating leads. And in fact, when you do enough of those, you don't have any time to generate leads. And conversely, if you're generating leads, you don't have enough time to do those calls. So one of the things that you have to do is you have to find a delicate balance between generating leads and taking people through a sales process. And that's very hard for a lot of people to do. So you end up wasting a lot of time with people that don't produce results. And you'll remember from the last webinar, we said that results are all that matters. It doesn't matter how many people you talk to. It doesn't matter how many people you sign up. What matters is how many people sign up and buy product and keep building the business. Nothing else matters. And you'll discover as you get into around network marketing circles that a lot of people say, well, gosh, I signed up 400 people. Like that's an accomplishment. And then the next question you say, well, how many of those people actually ordered? And they'll say, well, 20. 20 out of 400 is really not very many. And that's what the results are. And then you say, well, how many of those are actually building their business? Well, 2. Okay, 2. Oh, well, yeah, that's not so good. 2 people out of talking to 400 are actually building the business and making you a long-term residual income. The other big problem is that everybody is taught that they can win with the same, what I call, lame model. They're taught that if they use the website and if they use the online web ordering form, they can win just as well as anybody else. And that's true, but it's a fundamentally lame model. Because they're going to have to go out and they're going to have to find people to show the website to. And that's the hardest single thing in network marketing. And you'll see that the people who say that it's easy are the ones that have huge contact lists, and they can go to those contact lists, and a lot of them have already been in network marketing before, and go through and say, well, why don't you try this? Why don't you try this? And a lot of people will jump into it just to try it. And there's a lot of trust in those kind of relationships. And if they've been successful with their person who's trying to enroll them, they'll be successful again, they think. But it's fundamentally a very lame model. It's not designed to drive sales. It's not designed to drive signups. Okay? It's a pretty weak model. It's all based on you and your ability, and not on tools that the company is providing to you. And you can only win when you have your own unique sales proposition, USP. And that means that something distinguishes you from all the other people that are selling the same product, and you have messages that disrupt patterns of thinking. Let's go back to the very beginning of this presentation. We had something that disrupted your pattern of thinking. Network marketing companies don't know how to sell or market. Okay, we talked about how you could turn a product sale based on price into a sale of an offer. And there the price doesn't matter. What matters is the value that people perceive. So you can increase your perceived value in the eyes of consumers. And that's how you win. And so what ends up happening is, because the promise of 3 to get 3 to get 3 doesn't really ever happen, and because the tools don't really work all that well, discouragement sets in for most people, and they leave. And then that means you have to replace them. It's a big dilemma. But on the other side of the coin, throughout the history of network marketing, there are 4 big things that do produce great results. And we shouldn't overlook those. It's very, very important. The first is, when you can get leads beyond your family, friends, and contacts, you are going to be successful. And most people struggle because it's the very hardest thing to do to create leads. I mean, there are people who will put their business cards anywhere. They'll put them in grocery stores, laundromats, they'll put them on gas pumps, with the whole idea of, gee, somebody's going to call me and I'm going to get a lead. There are some people that will send out thousands of emails with the idea that somebody's going to call them and get a lead. There are other people that use social media and they're going to contact every one of their social media contacts with the idea that they're going to get some leads. If you find a way to consistently generate leads, you're going to make a lot of money in network marketing, no doubt about it. So once you go beyond family, friends, and contacts, if you can make that leap, that will definitely work. Historically, 3-way calls have always worked. What is a 3-way call? Well, basically, you work with one person that you enrolled or are trying to enroll, and one person in your upline. So, for example, I talked to my friend Mary, and Mary showed some interest in my product or the business opportunity, or both. So what do? I call my upline, Michael, and I say, Michael, would you participate in a call with Mary and me and help convince her to be part of the business? And today's calls, it used to be that the calls were all 3-way conversations on a telephone. Now they're turning into Zoom calls. That's all that it is. But why do they work so well? Because it duplicates the effort. It teaches me, Michael teaches me how to recruit new people because I listen to him. So I learn how to pitch the products and the opportunity. And then when Mary's ready to recruit somebody, she can come to me and I can help her. So Michael teaches me, I teach Mary. The small, what we call home party selling, has also been tremendously successful. And the company that made that most successful is probably Avon and Mary Kay, although Amway was right in there too. What is that? That's where you get a few people that you enrolled, and they bring several people that they're recruiting. And you get together, maybe in somebody's house. You get to have tea, or you have, in some cases, some people do it over wine. Maybe you have some snacks there. It's a real cordial, simple environment. And typically, you try to get each recruit to attend only one meeting and get them signed in one single meeting. So they're going to learn about the opportunity, they're going to learn about the product, and then you're going to get them to sign. And it works because it's a very low pressure, very friendly sales environment, but it is a sales environment nonetheless. And It's a great way to get authentic testimonials about the product and opportunity. I can tell people, and so can the other people that have already been in the company, about their experience with the product. And it's very intense because they're right there sitting there. It's not like watching somebody on the internet talking about how successful they were. They're sitting there watching what's going on. Same thing with the opportunity. People can say, yeah, I got in and in my first month I made $500. And that makes it very real. And the nice thing about that is that there's a subtle pressure as soon as the first people says, I'm going to sign up. Okay, when that first recruit says, okay, I'll sign up, then the other people say, well, gosh, maybe there really is an opportunity here. I need to sign up too. And in fact, it works so well that in some cases, people bring in ringers. They have a person in the meeting who's going to sign up no matter what. And in fact, sometimes they're distributors. That may not be ethical, but it does work. And duplication happens because if I'm running the meeting, the people that I've enrolled are going to learn from me. And they'll see how to interact and create a meeting and how to interact with their people that they bring. Recurring meetings in big hotel rooms is another strategy that has always worked. So this could be, for example, once a month we have a meeting in the Hyatt Regency, and everybody's invited to bring their potential recruits. So you get several successful distributors and the people that they have enrolled and the people that those people are recruiting. So you get successful people, you get newbies in the business, and you have people that the newbies are trying to recruit. And you get very high energy testimonials about both the product and the opportunity because the successful distributors that have been in the company for a long time are going to tell about the great successes they've had. And some of the people that they've enrolled are going to tell about the successes they've had. So a lot of really powerful testimonials, about how fantastic the opportunity and the product really are. And it's also a very good social experience. The people that are being recruited will feel like they're part of a group, and they'll want to be part of that social experience. The danger, though, is that it can turn into a club meeting instead of a recruitment. And what I mean by that is that it becomes a social engagement for the people that are already enrolled rather than for the recruits. But it's a very, very powerful, and it's actually got a lot of pressure for people to join. And then the beauty of it is that the people who attend as recruits are invited to bring their friends to the next meeting. So even if they don't sign up, if they have an interest, even if they don't sign up, they're put on the path to having a business. Now think about that. Somebody hasn't signed up, but they bring their friend Jim, and Jim says, gee, I think I'm going to sign up. Do you think that that person is going to then say, oh, well, I'm not going to sign up? No, they're going to sign up too. So it gets people signed up. Those four things have been humongously successful in network marketing almost since the inception. Now, you get duplication in these big meetings because the uplines do the meetings and the people below them learn how to do them. So notice that the whole strategy here is the uplines teach the people they enrolled, and those people, the ones that the uplines enrolled, bring the new people in. That's the whole strategy. And eventually, the uplines will pull out, and everything will move up a notch. So the people who were just watching the uplines now become the uplines, and the people that they were recruiting become the ones that are learning. It's really a beautiful system. It works very, very well. And so whatever we do, we want to capitalize on these things because they work. But it's all based on one-to-one meetings and face-to-face meetings. And the reality is that the underlying reality and strategy is that you end up begging to talk to anyone that will listen to you about your business. You go to the restaurant, you talk to people about your business. You go to a party, you talk to people about joining your business. You go to church, you talk to people about joining your business. And pretty soon people get sick and tired of you. I want to say that again. Pretty soon people get sick and tired of you. They start going, oh, well, gee, no matter what happens, the only thing this person ever talks to me about is joining one of their network marketing schemes or another. I have a couple of people in my phone that has the word no next to their names, and those are people that always are contacting me about this network marketing opportunity or that network marketing opportunity and how we're going to make $1 million. And finally, I got to the point where I just won't answer their phone calls anymore. And that's going to happen to you. People who are annoying, who don't listen to other people, who just constantly are pushing their products, their services, pretty soon it turns people off. And you don't want to be one of those people. So MLMs teach marketing still based on one-to-one selling. Fundamentally, at the lowest level, you are convincing people to come in and look at online brochures and fill out online order forms. And it's up to you to get all the people, however you do it, whatever strategy you have to do it, it's up to you to find the people that are going to look at those forms. And it's up to you to convince them to look at them. And it's up to you to convince them to fill out the order forms. Now, do the network companies tell you how to do that? No, not really. I mean, they'll give you some ideas. They'll say like, well, go through your contact list or go through your social media list or, put a notice up in the laundromat or whatever, okay? But fundamentally, they don't have a good strategy for how you can get all these little blue fellows. And we've already said that if you're lucky, only 2 out of 10 will sign up. How to get those people into your business. No strategy whatsoever. Well, how do you change that? What's happened in the most modern internet techniques is that they understand, and this is what e-commerce and what internet marketing is all about, is they take the salesperson that was the you and they model that in the computer. So the pitch that you gave over and over and over and over again, now the computer can do that. They can tell people about the product over and over and over again. They can tell people about the benefits over and over and over again. They can tell people about the opportunity over and over and over again because it's exactly the same talk. Exactly the same talk. So think about how much time that relieves. Now, what's the dilemma? The dilemma is you still have to come up with these people. Then you have to say, well, go to my website. So you say, okay, John, I've got this great thing I'd like you to find out about. Won't you check out my website at so-and-so? If you sent them to an online brochure, it would be completely ineffective. But if you send them to an online sales presentation, and that presentation is mimicking what you would do one-on-one, that was likely to be more successful. So John goes, he looks, he signs up. That's great. Okay, now where are you going to find the next one? Well, here's Sam. Where's he going to come from? Here's Jane. Where is she going to come from? Here's Martha. Where is she going to come from? You're faced with the same dilemma of recruiting leads, getting them to go to your sales presentation. So just like before, when you were out here, you've got to convince them to listen to you after you find them. Now, with this model, you got to convince them to go to your web page after you find them. And actually, that's a lot less likely because they can always not go to your webpage. They'll say, oh, sure, I'll check it out, and then they don't do anything. So now you actually get a higher proportion of no's. Well, what's the solution to that? The solution to that is to have those leads happening in the computer as well. So the computer itself is going out and finding the leads, giving them the sales pitch, showing them the online presentation, and it's doing all of that work for you. All of that thing that was wasting all of your time, the computer's now doing for you in an automated fashion. And this has become an art. Creating that online sales presence, the online salesman, and creating the online target audience has become an art. It's very, very well defined at this point. There are people making hundreds of millions of dollars that are doing that correctly. And the amount that you're going to make is going to be based on three things. First is the quality of your audience selection. How good of a job do you do of getting the computer to select people for you to present to, or for the computer to present to on your behalf? So the quality of your audience selection. The higher quality your selection, the more you're going to sell. The second thing is the quality of your online presentation. How good of a job do you do of putting you inside the computer? Putting your sales pitch inside of the computer and convincing the people here that have been recruited that what you've got is exactly what they need. And if you do that, they'll go to your presentation, they'll listen to it, they'll go to your online brochures, they'll watch them, and they'll go to your order forms and place an order. And the third thing is the quality of your one-to-one skills, because the reality is that you're going to have to talk to some people. No matter what. The computer's not going to do it all for you. But here's the thing, okay? The better quality you have on the computer, the more people are going to go to the order form directly. And you never even have to talk to them. And then a few people are going to want to talk to you directly. They're going to want to see, well, what about this? What about that? What if I do this? How about that? But those are people that are already tremendously interested in what you're offering. They're not the people that are, you're begging them to talk to you. They're the ones that are begging to talk to you. And that means that instead of 80% saying no, 80 or 90 or maybe even higher percent will ultimately say yes. Even if it's only 50%, just think of the difference between 80% saying no and 50% saying yes. It's huge. It's huge. Multiply it out. Say that you contact 10 people a week. In one scenario, 2 out of those 10, or 2 a week, are going to say yes. In the 50% scenario, 5 out of 10 will say yes. That's more than double, 2.5 times what you could do by yourself. And that means you get more results, and that means that you get more money. So the left side of the screen is based on what we call integrity-based marketing and sales. This is how you communicate to your people that want to talk to you, that are begging to talk to you, okay, how you communicate with them authentically and with integrity so that they trust you and want to buy from you. And that's something that we'll be teaching you. The other thing is the automated side, which is the automated marketing and sales, and that's how good of a job you do in creating your online salesman, your online brochures, your online order forms, and how good of a job you do of finding a target audience that will listen to all that. And that's the one-to-many selling strategy. It completely replaces the one-to-one strategy. And the better you are at doing this, the more successful you're going to be in any kind of sales that you do. And I want to emphasize that this is the case no matter what you want to do. If you want to go across the United States and sell across the entire United States, this strategy can be applied. If you want to just sell in your little location, this strategy can be applied. Okay, if you want to supply to market in just your neighborhood, this strategy can be applied. And in fact, with today's tools on the internet, let's say that there's a conference on wellness. And let's say that that conference is being held in Orlando. And it's from June 2nd to June 4th. Being held in the Hyatt Regency Hotel. You can become so sophisticated in your marketing that you can say, I want to target my presentation to the people that are in the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Orlando on those dates who are interested in health and wellness. Think about that. Are they likely to listen to what you've got to say? You bet they are. And then you can say, well, those people that listen to half of what I had to say, send them another thing. Are they likely to listen to you? Sure they are. If they listen to half of what you had to say, if you put it to them in a little different form, they'll listen to more. So you can become so sophisticated that you can sell them. And the beauty of putting it to them in another form is that you can do that after they've led the convention, after they've left the convention. If you go to a convention in yourself, you're pressured. You have to, while they're at the convention, make the sale. In fact, the chances are that if you've got a booth there, you have to make the sale when they come to your booth. With this technique, they could have left the convention. It could be 2 weeks later. It could be a week later. And you send them something that says, oh, remember me? Don't you want to know more about what I had to say? And a lot of them are going to say yes. And you can repeat that over and over again. You can say, well, people that I offered them this deal, like we talked about before, the free video course, people that took that, send them this. Take them along. Go to the next step. And that way, they're going to learn to respect you and trust you, and they'll buy stuff from you. So the whole thing is, take the things that worked historically in network marketing and make them work online, and combine them with the best of internet marketing to make the whole system work online, to get you more leads and to let you spend more time talking to the people that are more likely to sign up and buy your products. That's the whole thing, in a nutshell. So the key strategy for anything online is not just using an online tool, but the key strategy is to make people beg to talk to you instead of you begging to talk to them. And then you only talk to the people that are most likely to produce business results. Think about that. That dramatically changes the shape of what you're doing. And the second strategy is, and this is really important, remember we talked about the anchor at the very beginning of 450 or approximately that versus 2,500, and why would anybody want to buy the $2,500 product when they saw what looked like the same product for $500? The secret is it takes less effort to sell an expensive offer, as long as it's a good offer and as long as people perceive that it has value. It takes less effort to sell that to someone who can afford it than to try to sell an inexpensive offer with less value to somebody who can't afford it. Think about that. What does that mean? That means that it makes more sense to sell the $2,500 Healy than to sell the $500 Healy. It makes more sense to target your messaging to sell that $2,500 Healy and not the $500 Healy. So how do you sell it? You say, well, I've got this $2,500 Healy, would you like to buy it? They say no. Then you say, well, is price the problem? If it is, then you say, oh, well, gee, I have this other one for $1,500. Wow, that's a deal. I'll get that. If that's too expensive, you can go all the way down to $500. But the idea is sell the expensive one first because you make the most money and it doesn't require any more effort. Now, that wraps it up for today. In the next one, we're going to talk about the 3 core markets and what you can do to sell to those 3 core markets. So, hope you enjoyed this webinar. I think we got a lot of valuable information. You know the history of network marketing. You know how now internet marketing is fitting into that. And you know how network marketing doesn't do internet marketing. Okay, see you next time.